Hi everyone. In this video, we're gonna create a scratch ping pong game with the two players. So this ball will be in the middle of this circle, and we will use these paddles with the keyboards A and Z and up and down arrows. So let me click to flag and show you how the game will work. So I am clicking to flag. As you see, oops. So this paddle is working with up and down. So when it touches to the red paddles, it's changing the direction and turning back. And when it touches to blue or green paddle, then the score is changing. Also, we have a time which start from the 180 and going to down. When time equal to 0, the game will finish and the program will show how much each player get during the game. So this is how the games will work. Let's start to create our game. So I'm stopping this one and going to Scratch website. So let's start new project. So I am clicking to create. Firstly, I am gonna create my sprites, characters and backgrounds. After that, I am gonna pass to coding part. So this cat, I am not gonna use that. Let me start with the backdrops. I am clicking on backdrop and choosing the backdrop from here. What I am gonna do, I will add some middle lines. So I am clicking to this line and drawing one line. That actually will not have any function, but for aesthetics point, that will give more aesthetics view to my game. So this is my starting point circle. Let me choose a field and make that unfilled. So let's see how it looks like. Yes, I think this is fine. Now let's start with sprite. So I am going to down here and going to my Scratch library and choose a sprite. So I am looking for the ball. If you want, you can go to the sports and pick the balls you want, or you can search and find your balls. Let's say I would like to use this sprite. So this one. So let's make this ball a little bit smaller. So I am going to customs part here and choosing this ball, and from this edge point I can make that too smaller. So I'm making smaller and putting in the middle of my screen. Oh, this is too small, so let's make it a little bit bigger. Yes, I think this is fine. And we need two paddles for players. So as you see on this sprite option, there is a paint. I'm clicking to paint and choosing rectangle and drawing my first paddle. So that's my first paddle. Let me color that with red and change this one. Yeah, I think this is better. So I am gonna put this paddle to here. If you want, you can change that size. So let's choose that again. In case of you want, you can make it like this. And I don't need to draw the second one. What can I do? I can right click on the sprite and say to duplicate. So sprite 1 and sprite 2. So let me put these ones to here. This is the paddles which will go to up and down. And when the ball touches these paddles, that will turn and go to back. So to be able to record the score, I need two more sprites, which I will put once to here and another ones to here to recognize the scores changing. So let me go to this sprite again and choose the paint, and I am taking, you can do that one with a duplicate as well. So I'm making this one and changing this size of rectangle, make it that little bit bigger and putting that in the middle of here. So these ones I would like to have green. So here is it. So let me put that one to here. And I am making the duplicate of this and changing this one colors. So to the blue, I'm choosing from the fill color and picking buckets and changing the color, and that ones go to right side. Okay, so here my one pedal and my another pedal is here. So let's make it little bit, this one's little bit bigger. So oops, let's take Control Z and choose, let's make that one a little bit bigger so there's no white space in here. And here, so our games is design is ready. So we have 5 different sprite. One is ball, 2 players paddle, and 2 paddle like or line color for making the score. So when the ball touch to this paddle, red paddle, that will turn back. When this ball touch to this green one, another player will get the score. So let's go back to our coding part. So I am clicking to this code. Firstly, I am gonna create a 3 variable. Once, let's click to make a variable and call that player 1. Let's do that again. Player 2. And one more variable for recording time. So I am calling that time. So I'm gonna put this time variable in the middle of the area like this, and player 1, and this is player 2. So here, so let's put these pedals in the middle of the area. So when game starts, they will be here and here. Okay, we have variables. So let's start our coding part. So firstly, I am starting with writing code for this sprite 1 and sprite 2. So I need to create a movement for this sprite 1 and 2. So I am going to, so this one, player 1, will play with buttons A and Z. So I'm going to events and choosing when space key pressed. So opening this list and choosing A. So when A is pressed, my paddle will go to up. So to be able to do that, I need to change my Y coordinate. So on the motion block, change Y by 10. And if it's on edge, that should bounce. That's for first paddle, sprite 1. And I'm duplicating same thing. I'm putting to here, and when the button the pressed, that's the events for my block. So when the pressed, I would like to this paddle go to the down. So I am saying that should change -10. So you can arrange your own speed. You can increase, if you increase this 10 to 20, that will move more fast. For example, that's 20 and that's -20. So when I click to A, let's go to up, and when I click to Z, let's go to down. Okay. If you would like to make sure when flag is clicked that paddle stays here, so what you can do, you can go to events and say when flag clicked, uh, doesn't matter where is this paddle, just that paddle should go uh, to this coordinate. And same thing you can do for this one. So I am taking this block, and this is a short way. I'm trying to put to sprite 2, so that's a duplicate for sprite 2. So I am taking this block and coming to sprite 2 and putting for sprite 2. Here's a where's the A? Okay, A and Z, and when this flag click it, so sprite 2 has this one too. So I'm choosing sprite 2, make sure it's in right coordinate. So I need to change that little bit. That's a positive this, and y coordinate is 8. So that means when a flag is clicked, that paddles will come to this position. Okay. So also this paddle will move with up and down keyboard. So when A pressed, instead of A, I am choosing up arrow, and when Z pressed, I am choosing down arrow. So let's test and see how it will work. I'm clicking to up from the keyboard and down. Okay, here we have small problem. Let's fix that problems too. So as you see, that's a turning little bit. So I'm going to direction and telling to that should be 90-degree. And if you need to turn, that should turn to right and left. So I'm picking sprite 1, direction, and choosing to right and left turning. So it's not gonna turn in this format. So let's test again and see how the results. So down and up, down and up. So I'm clicking A and Z, A and Z, A and Z, and that works. Great. Now let's pass to ball sprite and try to create our code for that. So I'm putting that in the middle, and this one's in the middle as well. So basketball, what basketball or ball? We can call that ball. So I'm just calling that ball. What ball should do? Firstly, let's start with the event. So our game will start when we clicked flag. And when we click flag, firstly, the ball should come to this coordinate. So I am going to motion block and saying go to this one. And let's set our variables. So going to here, when game start, player 1 should be 0, player 2 should be equal to 0, and our time, because we're gonna start from 180 and go to down, so that reason I'm telling set my time to 180 and go to the down. I would like the ball go to the different direction when we start the game, so I'm going to back to motion and choosing the turn block. But this is certain degree 15. I don't want to that be static. I would like to these numbers randomly change. So to be able to do that, I'm going to operations and choosing this random, pick random number block, and telling that to certain degrees. For example, 120 and 150. So, and putting this random block to here. The reason for putting this turn block to here, I even can put that on the above. When I start the games, that turns to random positions, random directions, and it will go to unexpected directions. So it will create a little bit difficulties for my game, for players. So we have three variables here. The initials values have been defined. So I am going to create how the times will change. So I am going to control and taking forever loop block. So how the time will decrease, that will wait for 1 second, and after the 1 second the time variable will change with a -1. So that means it will wait 1 second and the value of the time will change with a -1. So it will be countdowning. So, and when it's equal to 0, I would like to the game finish. So I am clicking this control and choosing the if and telling if my time equal to 0, which means game finished. So I'm putting this one to here. If my time equal to 0, then give a message. Say for example, time is over for 2 seconds, give it for 3 seconds, and I would like to bring the scorer points to the screen. So I'm using say button again, and I'm going to use this join button for the text. Join. So I'm going to put 3 texts together. That reason I'm picking the 3 text. So player 1 2 dot and player 2 2 dot. So I'm going to variables again. I'm picking player 1 and putting to here player 2. So purpose for this, it will do something like this. It will say player 1, for example, if player 1 completed 10 point, player 1 10, player 2 for 15, for example. So I'm putting this joins to here, and all these complex blocks I am putting to the say block for, let's increase that, let's say for 5 seconds. So when time is equal to 0, program will say time is over for 3 seconds, and after that it will bring to screen player 1's score. This is player 1 and score, player 2 and score. And after that I would like to everything finish and stops. So I'm going to control and using stop all block. So stop all. This all will happen when time equal to 0. So this is the first block for the ball. Now let's continue how the player scores will change. So I'm going to back to this events again. I'm putting this flag. So I'm gonna start what will happen if this ball touch to this red paddles. So when flag is clicked, so after that for forever, I'm using the forever block because I would like to this continued during the game. That's why I'm using the forever. My balls move with 10 steps. If you want, you can change that number. If I put 5 steps, that will work more slowly. That will move more slowly. If I put 10 or 15, that will move with a much faster. So if it's touch, if this ball touch to this red paddle or this red paddle, what should happen? That should touch and turn to the different direction. So I'm going to again to control and saying if, let's say, and after the sensing touching to sprite 1, in that case that should turn. Also at the same time that should turn to back if it's touched to sprite 2. So I'm going to this operation block and there's an OR, which is logical block. So touching to sprite 1 or touching to sprite 2, because they all both have same function. If it's touched to this red one, that should turn to back. So if it's touch sprite 1 or if it's touched to sprite 2, that should firstly give some sounds just for creating effects. So sounds, play, basketball bones, or pop. Let's choose the pop. So it will be pop voice, like pick. And after that, that need to turn to different direction and continue to moving. So I am telling to we have a turn block here. Let's use this one. Oops, that's took the whole blocks. Okay, I would like to my ball turn to different direction, randomly direction. I already explained it. What's that? And continue that movement. So let's say was it 10? I think 10 is enough. And if it's on edge, that ball should bounce. So I'm going to motion again and choosing if on edge the bounce. So if we go over again, when I click to flag, the ball start with a different, it will take a random direction from here and it will start to move to 5 steps. If it touch this one, sprite 1, or this sprite 2, it will give the pop up and it will turn again to another direction and it will continue 10 steps. If it's on edge, like here, here, or here, that will bounce again. So this is our second blocks. Now the last thing I am gonna create is changing the score. So I'm going to ball again and choosing events. So when flag is clicked, I am using forever block again because that should continue during the game. If I don't use the forever block, that means it will occur only once. But I would like to the process, this changing the score, continue during the game. So I am telling if I'm putting the condition blocks to here, if these balls, so sprite 4 is this blue one, if it's touched to this blue ones, then player 1 need to get score. So if touching to sprite 4, then change my variable with a positive 1. So I'm opening the list and player 1. So that means if this ball touch to this blue sprite 4, my player 1 score will increase with a 1 point. It will change by 1. So after that touching, I would like it turns back to here, his main position, because the game is starting again. And going to motion and choosing go to X. And it needs to stay here for a few seconds and events. Wait for maybe 2 or 3 seconds. So if you want, you can put some music. So I'm going to this sound blocks again. That's a basketball. Or if you want to go to here to sounds part, you can choose from the library some effects. So let's play this one. Let's use this one. So I'm going to back and telling if this ball touching to sprite 4, these blue ones, plays a sound, big bang boing, changes player 1 scores by 1, go to the center again and wait for 3 seconds to start again. The same thing I will create for player 2, but on player 2 the difference will be, let me duplicate this code. For player 2 we will get score when the ball touch to this green sprite, which is sprite 2, sorry 3. So if it's touched to sprite 3, then score for player 2. So our game is basically ready. So let's go to the full screen and see how it works. So I'm clicking to here. So as you see, it's maybe moving a little bit slowly, our paddles. We can increase the speed of the paddles, but the games are working. And time is going, score is changing as well. So as you see, when time is over, it will bring the final score for 2 players. That's the video for the creating ping pong game on Scratch. I would like to you create your own version. Think about these questions: how you can create this game with only 3 sprites. Is that possible or not? If you do that, what type of change you will have here? How you can create a different levels of game. For example, when players enter the game, they can be option to choose easy, medium or hard level. How you can differentiate them. Good luck. I hope you enjoyed from my video.